We are celebrating the end of the, I was going to say financial year. I don't know where that came from. We are celebrating the end of the revision series with an amazing success story that I received a couple of weeks ago, and I am so excited to share it. This is one of my favorite parts of what I do, is hearing your amazing success stories of how you have applied these teachings to your reality and seen the most amazing results reflected back. So I'm going to share that success story. I'm also going to do a recap on the revision series so that we can just remember what we have gone over. And thank you so much for participating in these series and all of your comments. And I love hearing how so many of you have changed your tune on revision and are now incorporating it into your manifestation practice. So that was the hope of this series, and I'm so happy to hear that that has been achieved for many of you. So let's get into today's video. My name is Hedley, and I am a Law of Assumption coach specializing in, of course, the Law of Assumption and helping to make these teachings as practical as possible so that you can apply them to your life and get results, the kind of results that you want to see more of. So if you'd like to know more about me, all my offerings, including one-to-one coaching, my courses, I have a self-concept course and an I Am masterclass as well. And I also have my book, I Am Money, Assume a New Story and Enjoy More Money. You'll find all of that in the box below this video or at my website, youaretheone.com.au. And if you are enjoying my channel and you're finding these videos useful, then please do consider pressing that subscribe button. That would be most appreciated. Thank you so much. So we are celebrating with a success story, but before I get to that, I just wanted to recap the revision series. I was counting up the videos today, and there's 9 videos over more than 2 months focused on revision. And the thing is, I could go on. There is more I could share about revision, but I think we all need a break. I think I need a break. So this will be the last one for now, and then we will move on to other things. But I just want to go over the revision series and recap each video very quickly, just so we can remember what we have covered over these last 2 months. And for all of you who have watched each of the videos over 2 months, I want to say thank you so much for sticking with the entire series. And if you haven't, of course, you can just go back and start at the beginning of the playlist. The whole point of this series was to take you step by step by step through the whole point of revision, and also give you really easy, simple techniques that you can apply to different situations and scenarios that you may want to revise, because revision, as I've said throughout the series, is by far one of the most powerful yet underrated techniques in the whole of this create your own reality game. So let's just go through the series, starting off with the first video that I did in the series called The Most Underrated Yet Powerful Manifestation Technique. So this was the first video where I just gave you an overview of the technique of revision, the foundational principles, and also the etymology of revision, so that you could really understand what revision is. And I know that that video in itself put a lot of your fears or doubts about revision to rest, because it's not what you think it is. So if you haven't seen that video, do go back and start at the beginning. Then we moved on to Fall in Love with Revision, where I gave you a really simple technique called the Choose Yourself technique. And I gave you an example of a friend of mine who I hadn't spoken to in 10 years. I did the technique on him, and he reached out 5 days later. It was less than a week later. He reached out. We hadn't spoken in 10 years. That technique in itself is so powerful. Just be prepared. Then the next video was the Revise Your Body, where I shared a very personal story about how I revised everything that had gone down with my chest and all of that story, and actually experienced a healing at the level of my body over a number of years. That was definitely not a quick revision result, but it was absolutely worth it, and it's something that I do continue with today. Then I was expecting to go to revising trauma. However, there was some unexpected results following the publishing of that story, because I then got a chest infection, which I hadn't had in a very long time, and I had completely forgotten that I had reoccurring chest infections for 2 decades. And that was amazing for that to happen just after publishing that video, because it highlighted when we are revising deep old stories, we're bringing them up from the subconscious, we can experience a purging at the physical level of those old stories. There's nothing to be afraid afraid of, but that is what I experienced after publishing that video. It was a really good thing. So I talk about the unexpected results that you can have. Doesn't mean you will have them, but it is a possibility when you are bringing up deep old stories to the surface to let them go. Following that, we did get into really, for me, was the main reason I did this series was that I could share the Bridge to Freedom technique, which is the technique that I used and in fact I created to help me revise my own trauma. And having done absolutely everything that was available to me, that technique was the only thing that really brought me out of the consciousness of what happened to me in my past and set me on a completely new timeline. And so that technique, the Bridge to Freedom, is by far one of the most powerful techniques to revise trauma. So I highly recommend, if you haven't seen that, please do go and watch that. Now, the next video in the series was Swap Your Characters, where you are not bound to the characters in those past memories. You can actually swap them out, and I talk about how to do that. And I do share an amazing confirmation story that happened after I did swap some of my characters around. I mean, again, this stuff is wild. I would say without a doubt that revision has shown me that this is absolutely a hologram. Like, my reality is such a hologram. It's a holographic reflection of what I'm doing in consciousness. Because I'm very aware of what I'm doing in consciousness, when it gets pushed out and reflected back, it's just wild. And it goes to show that this is not fixed. This reality that we experience as real is just so not fixed. And anything that is in your past, and of course your future, is not fixed and is up for change based on a change in your consciousness. Now, while all of this was going on, we did have a little war that broke out, and so I did a video on revising the collective history, because war is just a memory that we have the capacity to revise. And in that video, I talk about becoming a negatively charged conductor, because as humans, we are neutral. And when there is an excess of heat or positive energy, which war is, we can actually help to bring that heat down by becoming negatively charged conductors. So that may be of interest to you as well. And then the last video that I did was revising for others, in particular your parents or loved ones, people that you know who are close to you that may have gone through some kind of trauma. It's not fixed. Just like nothing is fixed, you get to use the power of your infinite imagination to go in and choose to see things differently and play them out differently. And by doing that, you are setting up a different result in reality now. So that is the series from beginning to now. We're going to move on to different things next week, but I did want to just wrap things up with this amazing success story from one of you who emailed me with it, and I want to read that to you now. Person who sent it has requested to remain anonymous, which is fine. They have also requested that I change the characters a little bit so they're not identifiable. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go general. Hi Hedley, I hope you and Dora are doing well. I just wanted to share a success story regarding revision. Prior to watching your videos on revision, I had not experienced much success regarding the revision technique. It may have been due to me thinking that one of the goals of revision was to completely forget the memory of the incident or problem. I learned from your video that that is not necessary. The day after watching your video, my husband returned from work with some pretty upsetting news. A close family member was diagnosed with cancer. She would be starting chemo. In preparation for it, she chose to have her hair shaved instead of going through the trauma of having it fall out from the chemo. He showed me a photo of her on his phone. I was shocked and saddened. It also brought up images and memories of people that I have known that have had cancer. I remembered your videos about revision. I was reluctant to try it because I haven't been successful with revision in the past, and this was such an important issue, greater than simply trying to find a missing item. I didn't want to fail at this, not only for the seriousness of the issue, but also I was afraid that if I did not succeed, it would make me doubt the teachings. I determined that it couldn't hurt to at least try. I had full faith that you were telling us the truth regarding how the technique works for you and others. I'm glad. I laid down on my bed and played back the conversation with my husband from the moment that he told me the news about his family member. Except I changed the conversation to him telling me that the doctors thought she had cancer, but the diagnosis was wrong, and now she had shaved off her hair for nothing. I imagine that we laughed about it, and I said that now she can wear cool wigs and have a different style every day. I am great at visualization, but not so great with making myself create feelings. Each time the memory of this family member being ill came to mind, I did experience fear and sadness. I allowed the feelings, but said, I'm choosing this instead. Then I would visualize the conversation between me and my husband the way that I had revised it. I also remembered someone that I knew several years ago that had received a very unfavorable diagnosis, but when they performed the surgery, they found no disease. So with the original revision, I added that whatever the prognosis would be, it would be minor and easily taken care of. She was scheduled to begin chemo this week. The doctor had told her that the office staff would call and give her the day and time to come in to begin the therapy. The doctor was not sure about some of the results from her recent lab work and sent the results to a cancer specialist hospital. However, the chemo was still scheduled to begin this week. Seems a little odd to me, but that is what was scheduled. She didn't receive a call on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. So she called the office on Wednesday to find out when she was scheduled to come in. She was told that they had forgotten to schedule the treatment and it would be next week. Today she received another phone call from the cancer specialist hospital. The doctor asked if she had begun the chemo treatments. He told her, do not start treatment. They were almost 100% sure that the diagnosis was not correct. They want her to come back. Oh, I get chills. They want her to come into the hospital for further testing. As of this writing, it is a possibility that it may be a different type of cancer than the original diagnosis. Still, this is remarkable because if she had begun treatment as originally scheduled, it would not have been the correct treatment. I am now affirming that her diagnosis will be something minor that will be easily treated, or it'll be determined that the lab work was incorrect all along. My husband and family are not into law of assumption. They would not be open to this yet. Some of them are very religious, and previous attempts to discuss anything not along the lines of their religious beliefs has not been welcomed. So I don't share what I am manifesting with them. No reason to have them poo-pooing on my parade. Thank you for your awesome videos on revision. Thanks to you, I finally understood the technique and was able to apply it the day after watching your video. Whew! Thank you so much and well done. That is an amazing, amazing revision story, not just because of the results being incorrect as she had revised them to be. This person, who shall remain anonymous, came into this on a history of unsuccessful attempts at revision. She was nervous and fearful about doing this revision. Also, because of the gravity of this situation, she didn't want to mess it up. And she was afraid that if she failed, that she would doubt the teachings. So she had fear and she had doubt, and she did it anyway. The other thing that's amazing is that she has a family who is not into any of this. So she's on her own, which means you do not have to have everybody around you involved in this or on the same page. You can do this anyway and it'll still work. You do not have to impose this on anybody. And in fact, as I said in the last video, never convince anyone of this work. You don't have to. You can do all of the work that you need to do in your imagination, and you can do it for them if they don't believe it. You never have to convince anyone, and if somebody is not into it, that's fine, just leave it alone. And of course, the result being an incorrect or a possibly incorrect diagnosis, which meant do not start the treatment, is phenomenal. The fact that your revised memory got reflected back so quickly is a testament to your commitment to this work and to the technique of revision. So well done. And also everyone who is here watching this, we are all holding that revised version for your family member as well. And that is the result that then gets pushed out and reflected in reality. Now, there's just one more thing that I want to mention with this revision series, and it's based on a mistake that I have made multiple times. And I want to share it with you so that you don't make the same mistake. And when you are faced with this situation, you will know what to do. Do not do what I have done. Every time you revise a story, you have revised the story and you're now on the new timeline. The people in your reality are going to reflect back the forgetfulness of that original timeline. Now, even though they have forgotten or they're unaware of it, you are still aware of all of the timelines that are available to you. As I've said in this series, you don't lose the timeline you've come from. You're just expanding into another one and you're choosing a much more preferred one. But the old timeline or the old memory will always exist, but you just don't think about it. You're not aware of it. People in your reality are going to reflect that forgetfulness back. So if you have revised an old timeline and you have revised an old story, be prepared for people in your reality to completely forget that old story. When they forget and they reflect back that forgetfulness, do not go and jog their memory of the old story. Let the dead bury the dead. Let the past go. Let it be done. Do not keep talking about the old story after you have revised it. And that can be a challenge, but it's a challenge you have to be able to hold, because the price you pay for going back to the old story is a reality that reflects that old story back to you. People will forget. Let them forget. Let it go. Let the past fall away and dissolve. And if it has, it means you are on that new timeline. Enjoy this new reality that you have created for yourself. Enjoy the reflection, the new quality of life that you have given to yourself. Allow yourself to receive it. So thank you to all of you who have been with me throughout this entire revision series. We are done for now, and I will be back next week with a whole new topic, which I'm very excited about. Have a wonderful week. I will look forward to seeing you in the next video, and until then, stay with I Am. Bye.